So hi, Only Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Another Throwback Thursday dropping on a Monday.
Woo! Throwback Thursday on a Monday.
Yeah, need a new intro desperately because who really gives a fuck that we're recording this on a Thursday?
On a Thursday. I feel like if we keep doing it, people will give a fuck eventually.
Can someone let us know in the comments if they give a fuck?
Yeah, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like where do you give a fuck?
Yeah, do you think we need a new intro? Let us know, please. But as I would assume you'd know by the title, we're chatting this time around about 2006, My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, the My Chem album.
This is possibly the emo scene entry album. Like this is the face of the scene music, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, this was my intro, like deep dive. I mean, I had a Panic at the Disco phase before I found My Chemical Romance. But My Chem was what put me where I am today, musically. And this record, and more specifically, Welcome to the Black Parade, being the first song, My Chem song I heard, completely changed my life. So yeah, I would say that this is up there as, you know, one of, if not the scene album, the emo album, and probably the like quintessential concept record. Like, you know, we do a good chunk of interviews about concept records, and every time I'm like, my reference point is this record when I think of any concept album.
Always, because it is, even at a young age, I feel like both of us were able to kind of pick up on, I mean, it's the end, dead, this is how I did, like, just reading the track listing, you could kind of put together, oh, something bad is happening here. This character's going through some shit. So it is just, but it's not spelled out just perfectly. It's not like, this is a concept record. It's well thought out. I'm very excited.
And they showcase it well in the music videos. Like, I watched the Welcome to the Black Parade music video religiously. And
I could do it.
Yeah. And like, that music video is not trying to hide the concept behind the record. Like, it kind of lays everything out for you, like establishes, even if you haven't heard the record, establishes that there's this patient that is at least sickly, although you know, obviously by reading the track list, they're battling cancer. And like that music video, they're not hiding anything, even though there is a band performance in it. That opening scene lays out a lot for you.
Dude in a bed who dies.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because he doesn't. It's confusing when it comes to that, because not apparently, he's supposed to die 2 songs into it with Dead. He's dying in the first track, The End, but in the music video, Welcome to the Black Parade, he's dying in that one, and then he's dead. So it's kind of like, it's a little mixed up there, but I mean, music video wise, I think it's perfect. I think it does get the point across very well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I have established that Bullets is my favorite, and that 3 Cheers is the best. This is the album to dive in with, though. Like, you can do that with 3 Cheers. 3 Cheers is a fantastic record,
the best record.
But this is the one. Like, if someone was like, I want to get into My Chemical Romance and I don't know where to start, you start the way that I did, and probably you did.
100%.
Which is discovering Welcome to the Black Parade and the G Note, and then going from there.
The G Note, dude. That shit, like, it's so embarrassing looking back, because I remember seeing Dan and Phil live, and in the playlist, the pre-show playlist was Welcome to the Black Parade, and it's just, when it first started, the entire crowd just started shrieking. So it's just like looking back, it's a little difficult, but it's also like, damn, everyone knew that song.
Yeah.
That it's just, this is the album.
Yeah.
As we keep saying, like, this is it.
Yeah. Now, a confession. I obviously got very into My Chemical Romance, but I think just missed that time period of like the emos on crack and Crank That Frank and Dan and Phil and all that shit.
Good
So
old
like
days.
I never got into any of that content alongside of the bands because I was just got into it a little bit past that and like was still pretty, even if it was going on, was so naive to that and was like still like, I like My Chemical Romance, but I still watch the FaZe Clan. Like that's where I was at, you know. So like I wasn't diving all of the way in. So I never fully understood the gravity of something like the G Note and the history behind that. Because I haven't, you know, I haven't went back. And quite frankly, have no interest in going back to figure it out because I fear I'm a little too old for that at this point.
Yeah, that there was like a very small pocket of time in your life where you could indulge in that. But now at our grown ages, I think it would just come off as weird. Yeah, like really weird.
And I might have even gotten into My Chem too old to even go back and then indulge in that content because I was already in high school.
I think you actually got into My Chem before the emos on crack. I think you just missed it you were just way before and you were already into all of that and it just didn't interest you. Because I remember I was into it when I knew you and I was like, Crank That Frank is awesome, which he is and was. He quit YouTube, rip Crank That Frank. But yeah, no, I think because you were into like Pierce the Veil before My Chem, right?
No, it was My Chem first.
Really?
Well, it's always been My Chem first.
Damn, I always put Pierce the Veil before My Chem.
No, it's always been My Chem and all of the bands surrounding that, and then that was the direction I went.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, because remember when I said, like you either, you know, you get into these core bands and it felt like people were going two ways. You either get heavier or you go to K-pop.
K-pop.
Yeah.
That shit scared the fuck out of me because I was like, I can't do it.
And some of our friends went a third direction, which was indie music.
Indie rock?
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Not entirely sure, but so my prediction was wrong because none of our friends went the K-pop direction, but I do still kind of stand by that statement. I just add on a couple of additional arms now, which is just kind of like you like one kind of music and then you eventually go another way.
Exactly. Eventually one day you're gonna like a different kind of music too. Isn't
that crazy?
It's awesome. Let's get into the album, like track by track, I'd say. Just as an overview, we already spoke about it, but I just want to read this very, very short summary of the storyline. If somehow whoever's listening does not know, The Black Parade is a rock opera about the death and afterlife of the patient, a character who is dying of cancer. The album follows his journey from his hospital bed to his encounter with death, who appears as a parade. The songs reflect his memories, regrets, fears, and emotions as he faces his final moments. So let's start. The Black Parade. The beginning, the first track is called The End. Slow, starts off with just a guitar, an acoustic guitar, and builds into something massive. It is one of their best songs, in my opinion, because of just the build-up, the backing vocals, the piano that's brought in kind of in the middle towards the end. It is possibly one of their best openers, just in general. It is fucking incredible. I love that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the end. I love the way that it fades perfectly into Dead. Big fan of that 1-2 punch. Quite frankly, big fan of the entire album. There isn't, you know, the past couple of reviews we've been like, there's pockets on the record that are like, they flow really well, and I've spent a lot of time with this record, and there are songs that I will personally be like, not today, but there is not one song on this album or one pocket on this record where I'm like, this is better than the rest.
The only issue that I had with this record when I was younger was on my illegally downloaded version of Welcome or the Black Parade was the 2-minute gap of silence in between Famous Last Words and Blood, the hidden track, because I was like, God, guys, why didn't you cut this out? But even then, because it is a hidden track, it still works very well. It's just a bonus. I do think the record flows incredibly though. There aren't any spots where I go, maybe not. Even the slow track.
That's my gripe with Blood on streaming as well, because they brought the minute and a half of silence over to streaming as well to give you that hidden track feeling. So when I want to listen to Blood, which, gonna be honest with you, is not very often.
Really?
And it's a fine song, but you know it is the bonus hidden track for a reason. Although got a music video, fucking sick.
The music video is fucking awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
I will go to The Black Parade Is Dead because it's the song. Like, it's not live; it's the song without the minute and a half of bullshit. Which, like, I can pretty much tell you the exact minute mark, give or take a few seconds, where I can just skip that minute and a half of silence. Like, I haven't done it in a year, and I was able to, I got it within a couple seconds this morning going through the record again. I'm like, damn, I'm so good at this.
Damn, did it again.
Yeah, but typically if I am going to go out of my way for that song, like if I have this album on a playlist, I will remove the hidden track version off of this album and put the Black Parade Is Dead version, because it doesn't have that extra minute of time. But yeah, like, because it's a concept record and a rock opera and all of those kinds of words, the flow of the album is so important, and they nail it, which is why, like, you know, you almost can't skip a song on the record, because like it kind of feels like then you're missing something.
Yeah, you're missing context or the bridge over to, hey, so this is what we're going to discuss next. Yeah. It's like you're skipping chapters. Yeah. You feel lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is such a flow to the album and the way that the songs flow into each other, where it is like jarring to skip a song. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like going from, God, actually, you know what? Scratch that. I wanted to talk about the flow of Welcome to the Black Parade to I Don't Love You, House of Wolves, and then Cancer. I love how they positioned those tracks, because I Don't Love You and Cancer are the 2 out of 3 of the slowest songs on the record. And I love that they broke them up with the most feral, craziest song on the record, which is House of Wolves, my personal favorite on the record. That shit made me feel like I was so badass when I was younger. Like, I'd be like, SINISIN. I'd be like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I do. I did not. But I felt like I did. So that positioning and that strategic placement broke it up and made it so there wasn't a slow pocket, where I'm sure if they didn't put that there, we'd be like, yeah, the only bad part was that they put, you know, the 2 of the slowest and saddest songs on the record right next to each other. That shit is incredible. Also, just shout out House of Wolves again, because damn.
Yeah. Big shout out to House of Wolves, but the song on the record that made me feel the most badass growing up, and I was like, I just love heavy music, man, was Mama.
Mama? I thought you were going to say Famous Last Words.
No, Famous Last Words is my favorite single off of the album, but Mama was the song. Like, I remember very distinctly, because when I was in high school, you were allowed to wear earbuds, and I would wear them on my bike ride home for lunch, and I remember very distinctly standing in the kitchen and my mom trying to talk to me, and I had the ear, and I'm like, no, you need to give me 1 minute, because the breakdown was hitting, and I thought I was the coolest motherfucker in that moment. The true definition of a main character moment was right there. But yeah, that song made me feel so badass, and it still stands the test of time. Not as heavy as I thought it was the first time I heard it, but that's my, like, big feral moment song. Although and obviously following up Cancer again with another song like that, just, you know, really proves the how important the track listing was for the album, and the flow and how great the flow is, because even sleep built into something, but it really is like
it starts off slow.
It really is like after Welcome to the Black Parade, this wave like this, the track listing. Special shout out to Disenchanted, because I am
one of their best songs.
Yeah, I am not one that's typically like, I like the slow song, but there is something about Disenchanted and the emotion and that you can hear in Gerard's voice, and that goes across this album and goes across their entire discography. But I just feel like Disenchanted captures it so well and makes me feel things that most slow songs make me just like feel dread. I'm like, why? and this makes me feel emotions that I normally don't feel. So I'm into that song a lot. I love it. It's one of my favorite My Chem songs, hands down.
For sure. It is definitely, I think it was one of my cry songs when I was younger, when I'd be like, if I'd listen really deep,
I would actually sad and small.
No, because it's so sad, because it's so depressing and it's so just like defeated. And it is just like, it is a goodbye, and it is so fucking sad. But I think you nailed it completely. Immediately after Welcome to the Black Parade, it switches off with fast, slow, kind of slow, but builds up, to then slow build up. But it still tells the story. And it is just the ups and downs of, as it said earlier, where it was just reflecting on the highs and lowest points of his life while he's dying. This album is just fucking incredible. It is one of the best albums ever, easily.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of this record. I always forget how much I enjoy it, because again, like most like the entire My Chem discography, quite frankly, it is that point of like, I've listened to it so much that I don't want to listen to it anymore, and sometimes the thought of listening to it physically repulses me, because I'm like, I've heard it so many times and there's so much music out there. But every time I go back, I'm just like, holy shit, like they are still an amazing band and still one of my favorites, and really have a discography that is timeless. And I think probably one of the few bands that could come back, and they're kind of back, but come back with an album and it not mess with the discography, because I just think that they are a fantastic group of musicians. And typically you don't drop 3 incredible records, one that caused a little bit of discourse between fans, although I like it and we'll get into it next week. And then
four albums.
4 albums. Well, no, it's the 3, and then I'm talking about Danger Days. A little bit of divide between the fans on that one. So you don't drop 3 incredible records, in my opinion, one pretty good album, and then a collection of singles that is a record, and we're going to talk about it as if it is an album, but we're not counting that in this discussion right now. 3 incredible records, one pretty good record that was a little divisive, and then like drop a stinker 10 years from now. Like I just they've all continued to put out music separately, and it has all been music. And it all has all been fantastic. So that's why like I don't have any sort of nervousness if they were to get back together and actually release more than just that one song, that it would be amazing and would probably change my life again.
Yeah, because I was hearing you and I was like, which album are you talking about being the divisive one? Because man, they have 4 fucking stellar records. I was like, oh, maybe conventional. No, you're talking about fucking Danger Days. That's my fucking record. Don't talk about that record, bro. It is scary. Not scary. That's obvious. I'm exaggerating so much. I'm not fucking waking up in a cold sweat. Like, oh my god, their discography is ruined. But it's just like it's definitely something to think about with, if they did drop something tomorrow, Friday, would it fit into their discography? Because they've been making great music separately, but it's also been very, very different to what My Chem is. Like Gerard has gone towards an indie rock type of sound with Baby You're a Haunted House, just off the top of my head, and then Ray has been just doing guitars for people. Frank, his side project has been the one where I have not been able to appreciate fully, I guess. I feel like it's just a lot grimier than I am used to and that I like. It's more leaning on the punk rock side of music. And I just have not been able to get into it. I like it. I could say like, no, Frank Iero makes great music. But I haven't really gone in depth as I have with some of Gerard's singles that he's dropped and with the song he did with Ray and obviously My Chem's discography. And then Mikey is doing side quests and shit. He just pops up on stage sometimes of other people's shows and it's like, holy shit, Mikey's there.
And that first Electric Century album.
Oh my god.
Dude. Incredible.
I need to revisit that shit.
I do too.
Thank you for reminding me of that actually, because I forgot.
Yeah.
But that record was actually fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And they did a whole comic with it too, right?
That was the second one.
That was the second one?
That was the self-titled.
That's what I'm thinking about. I like that one. That
we all kind of forgot about, or at least I did, because it kept getting delayed, and then I wound up having to cancel my vinyl order because there was just like no sign of it ever appearing, and I honestly don't know if it ever shipped. But I wound up not being like, I had so much riding on that album, and on first listen I just wound up like not being gripped by it. Like that debut, that debut spoke to me, and I listened to it at a very pivotal point in my life. So I massive fan of that. But yeah, Frank's solo stuff, albeit the grimiest and the hardest to digest, I would say, if you're really just like a fan of My Chem, I would also say it's probably the closest to like, you know, if he was like, fuck it, we're doing it my way and My Chem, like it would be, you know, closer. Like they tone him back when it's time to do My Chem. Everyone else comes forward a little bit. They got to pull him back because he would be like, we're a deathcore band now.
Exactly. Or we're going to threaten some political figure right now.
Yeah,
by the way.
Or we're doing black metal now. Like he would just do something batshit because he just goes heavier. Everyone else goes a little lighter and they meet in the middle. But yeah, I don't wake up in a cold sweat. I honestly try to forget about My Chem most of the time because I'm just like, I could go down the rabbit hole of their stuff any day of the week and I would be so unproductive the rest of the week because that's all I would be thinking about. But all that to say, I do enjoy the Black Parade. I think it's an incredibly solid record. I always forget how much I enjoy it. Lots of bangers on here. As I said, Mama and Disenchanted are my favorite non-singles. Famous Last Words is my favorite single, although I enjoy the album front to back. I love the way it opens. I love the middle. I love the way it ends. I could sit here and name every single song.
It's incredible.
So yeah, overall, very much enjoy this album. Yeah.
As I said earlier, my favorite is House of Wolves, and then my favorite single is also Famous Last Words. And then also I fuck with Sleep Heavy. I do. I really do like that song a lot.
Hell yeah.
God, it's just looking at the track list just gets me excited because I'm like, I gotta just listen to this all day now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are our thoughts on My Chemical Romance's 2006 The Black Parade. Next week we will be chatting about Danger Days, getting deep into that one. So if you're a fan of My Chem, stay tuned. We've also got our reviews of Bullets and Three Cheers on the channel already, so you can check those out in the meantime. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter. It's good_noise_cast. Instagram's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. And you could subscribe to us on YouTube. It helps us out a lot. Much appreciated. Yes. But that's all we have for you today. I've been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we have been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.